graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
There are sci-fi films and there are horror films, but no other film has done both genres together than the 1979 classic Alien. Directed by Ridley Scott, who would go on to direct Blade Runner just a few years later, Alien is a classic sci-fi/horror film about a space crew from the ship known as Nostromo. They're on their way back home to Earth but soon receive a distress signal from the moon LV-426. When they land there, they find a strange alien spaceship with eggs inside. When they get back inside their ship, a scary alien follows them along, and every single crew member boarding the Nostromo is killed by this terrifying creature known as the Xenomorph. This creature is so scary, it has a head inside a head. Now that is fucking terrifying. However, one crew member survives the onslaught of the alien creature, and her name is Ellen Ripley, played by the star of the film, Sigourney Weaver. Ellen Ripley is a very special character, as she was the first female badass in the history of cinema. On top of the awesome story, Alien had amazing cinematography and special effects, especially for 1979. Of course, Star Wars came out 2 years earlier, and that has similar space-themed designs, but it still blows my mind that a movie from the 70s looks this fucking good. Alien is a cinematic masterpiece. Of course, with its critical and commercial success, we would see many sequels. The best and most notable sequel, however, is the James Cameron directed film Aliens, released in 1986. This one was more action-oriented than its predecessor and had more aliens, but Sigourney Weaver was back as Ripley and she was stronger than ever. Both Alien and Aliens are hands down the best in the franchise. Other sequels would follow like Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien vs Predator, Aliens vs Predator Requiem, Prometheus, and Alien Covenant. These sequels, however, were hit and miss. Fortunately though, Alien would expand to other media, including novels, comics, and of course video games. Many games based on Alien and Aliens were released, as well as Alien vs Predator. Some were good, some were really good, and others kinda sucked. Some of my favorites include Capcom's Alien vs Predator, which was a beat 'em up, Alien vs Predator for the Atari Jaguar, and the Alien trilogy. But years later, in 2014, we would get an Alien game that was truly special. One that would actually feel very close to the original 1979 Ridley Scott film. But before we get to that, I should mention one more game that came out the year prior, Aliens Colonial Marines. It was published by Sega and developed by Gearbox Software, best known for their Borderlands franchise. It sucked. It fucking sucked. Do not play it. Now, why would I bring that game up in this video? Well, it actually kind of relates to this one. See, even with the failure of Colonial Marines, Sega had plans to release another Alien game shortly after, but this one was gonna be much better. This time, it would be developed by Sega's own creative assembly, who worked on the Total War games. And that game is called Alien Isolation, the game I'm reviewing today. Man, I really love how the game immediately starts with the classic 20th Century Fox logo. You know you're getting something special here. It's a shame they were absorbed by Disney. Fucking greedy ass company ruining everything. Anyway, the game begins with Sigourney Weaver reprising her role as the voice of Ellen Ripley in the intro. You know, when I heard her voice, I was like, holy shit, it's her! It's really her! It's the Ellen Ripley! Alien Isolation is set in the year 2137, 15 years after the events of the original film. The game's story is centered around Ellen Ripley's daughter, Amanda Ripley. While working, she is approached by a synthetic known as Christopher Samuels, who works at the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. He tells her that her mother's message left on the black box flight recorder lost in Nostromo was found. The flight recorder is now located at the Sevastopol station owned by the CSUN Corporation. Ripley agrees to find it and joins their crew on their ship known as the Torrens, along with Samuels and Nina Taylor. However, after they get on board Sevastopol, they notice the whole thing is a wreck. To make matters worse, Ripley is unable to contact her teammates, so she's mostly alone throughout the game. Fortunately though, she learns to survive as she is just as skilled and determined as her mother. Not only is the entire ship destroyed, but almost everyone on board has become hostile to anyone from outside. The Working Joe synthetics have also gone haywire, and many of them will try to kill you. And let me tell you, these motherfuckers are a pain in the ass to kill, but it doesn't end there. All of the ship's destruction is the result of the alien creature known as the Xenomorph going after anyone and everyone. And there isn't just one of them, there's lots of them. Moving on to the gameplay, this game is absolutely scary. I won't reveal too much of the game since I feel that you need to experience the horror yourself, but man, this game is fucking scary as shit. When you're trying to complete your mission, things will come at you when you least expect it. These aliens follow you everywhere, so you have to be very careful while moving. You can run in this game, but it is not recommended at all. Only run when you either have no choice or are escaping from a fire or explosion or something. Because if you run, you'll be in for quite a surprise. Let me tell you, when I first played this game, you have no idea how many times I got caught by the Xenomorph. I had to learn the hard way that moving slowly is the best course of action. And even if I do move slow, sometimes the alien would just get me anyway. I remember I would move slowly at one point and all of a sudden I hear dun 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 and I was dead. Now even though the game is in first person, it is not a first person shooter. You can shoot people, but it is not recommended to do all the time, as you will run out of ammo eventually. You really need to learn to preserve ammo and figure out other ways to kill enemies. If not, get as far away from them as possible. You've got plenty of hiding places to choose from: a locker, a drawer, under the desk, and under a stretcher. And sometimes you can just hide behind the shadow, but I really don't recommend it if you're hiding from an alien, as they have much greater senses and can even smell a human from miles and miles away. Most of your tasks in this game are collecting information, meeting with other people, and of course surviving. You have to do all of that stuff, including unlocking more areas to go through before you either get killed by a hostile human or a Working Joe, or get eaten alive by an alien. The latter is more likely to happen. Much like with other survival horror titles like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, you'll come across save points, which are usually these mini telephone booths where you insert your key card. They're scattered throughout the game, but you'll find them more often than you think. However, after using them once, you have to wait a certain amount of time to use the same save point again. Your best option is to move forward until you find another save point. It's not easy though, considering the alien might come after you. You'll also come across terminals to gather information and get secret codes to unlock doors and other things. In addition to weapons, you have very useful tools that will help you get through the game. Tools like the motion tracker, which is very helpful if you want to avoid aliens and other enemies, a maintenance jack for opening certain doors, an ion torch for cutting certain doors and ventilation holes, a security access tuner for hacking, flare to distract other people, and of course a flashlight if you can't see where you're going. By the way, when you're hacking with a security tuner, I love how it turns to some sort of 8-bit computer minigame. That's pretty cool. Now with weapons, you have a revolver, a shotgun, a stun gun, smoke bombs, and pipe bombs. But none of these weapons work at all against the aliens. The only weapons useful against them are the flamethrower and Molotov, the former of which you can get much later in the game. But even then, you cannot kill the aliens. You can only scare them away with those weapons, but that's it, and even then, the aliens will immediately come back to you. These aliens are fucking invincible. Also, much like with all the other weapons, you absolutely need to preserve ammo. By collecting scrap and other things, you can craft items and create new bombs and health injections. I think this is a cool way to collect new items, very creative compared to other games. The graphics and presentation are absolutely amazing. These two things go hand in hand perfectly with Alien Isolation. As I said earlier, it really does feel very close to the original 1979 Alien, even going as far as to present the future through the vision of 70s society. Back then, there were no smartphones, no internet, hell, video games and computers were still in their early days. So movies had to take the technology they had back then and quote-unquote futurize them, so to speak. Alien Isolation has that aesthetic. This game even captures the amazing dark cinematography that the original Ridley Scott film had. I especially love when you enter a dark room and all of a sudden the lights slowly start to turn on. Really creepy shit, and easily one of the coolest things about the game. Speaking of creepy shit, look at this part where the synthetic androids are posing like they're statues or models or something. Now that is some scary fucking shit. I have a few complaints about the game, but they're rather minor. Like for example, I don't like how sometimes you gotta rapidly tap the E key to activate a switch or something. Now the footage you see here is of course the PC version. The controls are solid, and keyboard and mouse is the way to go. And of course it runs at 60 frames per second or higher. The PS4 and Xbox One versions are 1080p 30 frames per second, but the PC version can support up to 4K and, as I just mentioned, much higher frame rates. It's also on the PS3 and Xbox 360, but those versions run at 720p 30 frames per second. That said, those last gen versions are pretty solid. Speaking of the PC version, I did come across a few glitches a few times. They're not game breaking at all, but I think this game needs to be patched. All in all, Alien Isolation is a true survival horror. It is dark, it is scary, it is immersive, truly amazing from top to bottom. I give it a gold. Now you've watched this video and you're wondering, it's December, it's Christmas time. Why the hell are you reviewing a survival horror game like Alien Isolation? Well, for starters, this year is the 40th anniversary of Alien as well as the 5th anniversary of this game. And it just so happens that it's being ported to the Nintendo Switch. In fact, it's already out now. Nintendo fans finally get to play this game as they missed out on the Wii U. Not only that, but you can even play this on the go. I don't have the Switch version yet, but I imagine performance and resolution will be on par with the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. But if you're going to play it on the go, I highly recommend playing it at night in the woods or something. Just kidding, don't do that, it's too dangerous. But play it at night at home. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Did you enjoy this review or did you not? And are you a fan of this game or the Alien franchise? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching. I'm Allie-RX, and I'll see you on the other side. If you like this video and want to see more, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get immediately notified on the latest videos. If you like my content and want to support me, you can donate to my Patreon for just $1 a month. Go to patreon.com/Allie-RX or search Allie-RX on the Patreon app for mobile devices. If you prefer a one-time donation, you can donate to my PayPal at paypal.me/Allie-RX or send to allierx@gmail.com on the PayPal app for mobile devices. There, you can donate any amount, even a penny. Links are in the description.